This feels a lot like my days back in broadcast. Hurry up and wait until everything's ready and then go, go, go.
Ready for the go, go, go? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dubious Engineering. Today we have a special guest star with us. We have got Kent from the electronics YouTube channel, Pile of Stuff. Now, Kent doesn't appear on camera, but his hands and his electronics workbench certainly do. And normally, there would probably be a beer there. Say hello, Kent.
Good morning, or afternoon as it is.
Yeah, I don't know when we're going to release this, but yeah, good day.
There we go.
Excellent, excellent. And Kent, you're based in Canada.
Right smack in the middle of Canada.
Indeed. You can't say Kent in Canada.
Not 5 times fast.
Good stuff. So you have an electronics channel, Kent, and I can see there's an awful lot of weird and wonderful gadgetry going on in front of us on your workbench. What is it you're up to on your workbench?
Well, I'm just preparing for the next video. I'm not sure when it'll be relative to when this one comes out, but it's some kits that I was sent of a Wi-Fi module and breakout board that are used with addressable LEDs, typically WS2812 type LEDs. NeoPixels is what they're often called. And the Wi-Fi module is this little fella here. It's called an ESP8266. For anybody who's getting specifics, the ESP01 variant, which is, as I said, a Wi-Fi module. It can actually run a small website on this and has a couple of pins where it can control anything that an Arduino or anything like that could control. And in this case, it'll be blinking lights.
Wow. And what's it piggybacked on there? What's the board underneath?
This little fellow is just a USB to serial adapter that's used for programming it. This particular one's one of the cheap Chinese ones from eBay, as is much of what's in my shop. One of these kits that came has a different variant on that has just spilled. That has some other features that allow you to program the module easier. This one when I was playing with it before, I had to run a bunch of jumper wires and whatnot. I'm currently making an adapter for it that minimizes those jumpers just to demonstrate how it has been done before these guys came out with this board here. Okay,
right. And then earlier you mentioned that that actually the little ESP board that you have there, the Wi-Fi board that you have, it didn't bridge the gap on the prototyping board.
Yeah, its pins are the correct spacing to fit on a board.
Yeah,
but
so that's
they don't.
Yeah, that's 2 mil spacing, isn't it? I think, or something like that.
However, the 2 rows of pins aren't wide enough to fit over the gap here.
Yeah, that's a traditional.
So they short out.
Yeah, traditional. Is it IC header or something like that? I think they're called, aren't they?
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, I'm not that good on specific part numbers and model numbers. They all get jumbled up, but I tend to use the common name more often than not.
So, when you've got this wired up, what are you planning to do with it? Are you planning to make it like a little website so that you can turn a light on and off via an internet connection or something along those lines?
A whole string of lights. It can, I think, handle 200 to 300 lights in a string off a single one. Okay. Each LED addressable for color and on and off and flashing pattern and whatnot. I did a project this past December to build a similar thing, but I built it from the ground up, and my son wrote the software for it to run the Christmas lights in the front of my house.
Excellent.
And this is going to do pretty much exactly the same thing, but it's smaller, less expensive, and I think I'm probably going to just put it on one of the Christmas, we've got a spruce tree in the front yard, so I may put it on that next Christmas. Or I could run it off just a USB battery bank if I wanted to and make it portable.
Fantastic.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Mostly just playing.
Whatever happens. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's the kind of thing that I get up to as well. So now, normally you would have where your coffee cup is this morning, because it's your 10 o'clock and it's my sort of 5 o'clock or so, something like that. So that's 5 p.m. as opposed to a.m. so I've got a glass of wine and you've got a cup of coffee, but you do have a tendency. Yeah, I was going to say, from the videos that I've seen, you tend to sort of do a bit of beer tasting as well, don't you?
Yeah, the small local brewery scene has really taken off in this area in the last 2 or 3 years, and I've made it my mission to sample them all.
Good for you. Excellent.
It's important to support a local business.
Have you found any favorites yet?
Actually, I am really leaning towards the stouts.
Show us the stout, mate. Put that in front of the camera.
There's one of them from a local brewery, actually the same one who supplied the pub mat. This place started up about 2 years ago, and conveniently they are across the street from one of my work locations. So I can go and pick up supplies whenever I need to.
Fantastic. Am I allowed to ask you what it is you do for work?
I work in telecommunications.
Okay.
My daily work is both on the cellular network and also on some long-haul fiber optic, increasingly so long-haul fiber optic. And that's what's kept me occupied and out of the house while most of the world's been unable to move around.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Increasing bandwidth and calling capability or calling capacity, because that's all changed.
Yeah. I can imagine that things have suddenly ramped up significantly. On the weekends, everybody's watching Netflix and Amazon and internet TV, and then during the week now as well, everybody's on video conference. So those bandwidth changes must be massive. Yeah,
we've found on the wired network, the home networks, massive, like quadrupling of data use. As everybody's VPN'd into their office or doing video conferences and whatnot. But also, their phones aren't on the cellular network. They're on their home Wi-Fi.
Okay.
For data, and nobody's out and about. So, yeah, massive amounts of data at home that aren't normally there. Yeah. At the same time, cellular voice has really taken off. Previously, we'd been seeing cellular voice, mobile voice, dropping off slowly as everybody's going to either Skype or texting or whatnot. But now that everybody's making their voice calls for business from home on their work cell phone, that's just gone ridiculous. The biggest surprise to me is we've had to add massive amounts of conference calling devices. Or multi-way calling devices, because everybody's doing conference calls from home on their cell phone.
Wow, yes. Yeah.
Never expected.
Very interesting. Yeah, things have really changed, haven't they, over the past few weeks? It's amazing how literally, almost daily, there's a paradigm shift in what's happening in the world. So it's an interesting time for us all. And I hope you're all safe up where you are in Canada there.
Yes, we've geographically lucky in the middle of the country because we don't have direct flights to a lot of the epicenters of the disease. So we were able to get ahead of the curve a little bit here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, both Vicky and myself, I believe we haven't been able to test and confirm, but we both had it last week. So we're self-isolating at the moment. Thankfully, some very goodly neighbours dropped off a bunch of bags of food for us the other day and rang the doorbell and sort of ran away. But no, we're in great shape here. No problems. We're both totally over it. Vicky actually got it worse than I got it. So It's yeah, it took a long time to come on. It took about sort of 5 to 7 days to come on, and then when it did, it was, you know, it was a little bit aggressive. But as I say, for me, it wasn't too bad. Vicky definitely struggled a little bit more. So anyway, so on your desk, on your workbench, then we have got a temperature-controlled soldering iron. We have got a flux pen. We've got what looks like a little pot of acetone. Yeah,
actually, IPA
alcohol. Okay, so and then what's so behind your coffee cup? There's like something with a row of 4 buttons on it and what looks like an LED, a little LED 7-segment display. What's that?
Well, this fella, that. Oh, hang on.
Oh, is that a voltage? Yeah,
that is actually it's a bench power supply or
brilliant
similar. I've got
what a great idea! A bench power supply.
I've had this little one for several years, and this one is essentially the big brother of it. It's actually a video I did a few weeks ago. The majority of it is off that way and down on the floor.
Yeah, that's what I'm just thinking. It's a great idea to have, you know, the sort of like the base unit with the big sort of, well, it's probably not a transformer, it's probably a switch mode in there. But either way, you know, get all of that lumpy stuff out of the way and have the ability to have something sort of flexible on your desk in front of you. Oh, that's brilliant, mate.
There's about a meter of cable on that, so I can move it around as well if I choose to. It's a much chunkier cable than I'd like, but to handle the current, this thing is capable of, I think, 6 amps. So I wanted a relatively heavy cable.
Very good indeed. And then I see in the background we have a "Don't Panic" button, which is, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps a message from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas Adams.
Indeed it is. That's a book that I've enjoyed probably since it came out, actually. That particular badge came with the Apple II version of the game based on the book, which was based on the radio play, which was
superb.
So I have had that since you could buy Apple II software in stores.
Wow, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Douglas Adams sort of wrote the book quite a long time ago, didn't he? It's very good, though. Very good stuff.
Yeah.
And then the thing that I really like, your subscriber count meter. So it's a scrolling multi-segment display. Go on, tell us a bit about that.
So there's 2 bits in here actually, completely independent. The upper one is a smaller Arduino type module called a DigiSpark, which is just connected to the USB port on the side here. And for each video, I upload a slightly separate message. Then the bottom bit is the big brother of one of these, actually, connected to the 7-segment display. And it goes onto YouTube and grabs my subscriber counter and displays it there just automatically. That's the software. The software is kind of based on, I'm not sure, are you familiar with a chap called Brian Wall? He's up in Ireland. He wrote much of the software that drives this thing, and a bunch of people built them. And then YouTube decided to change how they display the data, so it only rounds it off to the nearest, in this case, the nearest 10, I think.
Okay.
Which is why I've added the approximately.
All right. Okay. Good stuff. Well, nice. Anyway, so approximately 5,530 subscribers. That's fantastic. How lovely. It's always nice to have that kind of engagement. I always really enjoy that. So
nobody's more surprised by that number than me.
Why do people watch what I do? Yeah, I occasionally say that to myself. Yeah, exactly that. I think I surpassed over 1 million views the other day, and I popped a little message on Facebook, and I just went, "You guys have watched my videos over a million times," and I just thought that, poor you guys, poor you.
I'm happy to have contributed to that.
Thank you very much, mate. And likewise, talking of videos, so I I was having a quick scan through some of your sort of popular videos and came across a meter that you purchased from Banggood. I think it was a £5. Have you got it? You got it there, have you? That is quite possibly
is this one or this one.
No. It was the black one. I'm pretty sure it was the black one.
I have a bad habit.
Yeah. You enjoy collecting. Well, they're useful to have, aren't they? At the end of the day.
Oh, but, yeah, and this one being at the time I bought it, it was literally the cheapest meter on Banggood. I bought it intending it to be somewhat sacrificial. Should I be needing to measure something that is potentially dangerous or hazardous to my test equipment, this is a sacrificial victim. So far, I haven't destroyed it.
Well done. And it was what, five Canadian, was it, or something?
Yeah, about that. And the Americans all chimed in on the comments and said that there's a tool store in the States that actually gives this meter away with a purchase. It's that cheap.
How do they make it that cheap?
I don't know. It's basically just one chip on there on a blob on the board.
Yeah. I mean, clearly it's not going to be, well calibrated and all that kind of stuff. But, if you want something to chuck in the car and, give you a bit of an idea on how to diagnose a problem, then that's a useful meter to have kicking around.
Oh, yeah. And most of the time, close enough is adequate.
Yes, indeed.
You don't need 4 digits to precision when you're messing around with hobby stuff.
Yeah. And where is your hobby room that you're in at the moment? Where's that located in the house?
It's in the basement of the house.
You're in the basement. Okay, yeah.
Adjacent to the furnace room and the laundry.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm upstairs in the attic. So in the winter it's really cold up here, and in the summer it's absolutely boiling.
Yeah, every country has their own typical hobby space. I'm half surprised that you're not in a shed.
Yeah, well, you know what, my wife would say that actually I've got quite a lot of hobby spaces because, yes, I do also have a shed. But since we converted the T6 van into a camper van, the shed is just absolutely full of old wooden panels that came out of the van and equipment, and it's got a motorbike in there that hasn't been started for 2 years. In fact, that's my plan now. So whilst I'm staying home, I'm planning to clean out the shed, get the motorbike out, put solar panels on top of the shed, revisit some of the shed solar panel systems, and yeah, there's so much work that I'm looking forward to doing actually. So.
Yeah, I'm at the other end of that spectrum because telecoms has been declared to be an essential service. So I'm having extra shifts at work. Luckily, my work, I tend to be solitary anyway for my tasks, so I'm not at much exposed risk. But
this is something that actually I'm quite looking forward to showing people. So I'm just going to hold it up to the camera. This here, there's a... Whoops. Dropped a bit. There's a great big tuning capacitor there. Sorry, you can't see my video, Kent. But what I'm showing people is a great big tuning capacitor. It's a multi-gang, so a dual-gang tuning capacitor. And then I've 3D printed a screw-in coil system. So I've got 2 coils, one inside the other one. And then here... I've got a cat's whisker, and the 2 coils, you can screw the top of it and the coils will move position to effectively, you can wire them sort of in so that they oppose each other or so that they help each other. And then I've got a little what's called a cat's whisker crystal there. So this is basically going to be a tiny little crystal radio, absolutely. And I'm quite looking forward to revisiting the crystal radio. It's going to be quite good fun. So
yeah, that's It's been a long time since I've messed with that as well. But your description was good enough that I could visualize exactly what you had in front of you.
That's nice to know. So, that's the one thing I have noticed. Sorry, I can't see anything 3D printed on the desk in front of you, mate.
There have been a few things. I don't have a 3D printer of my own at this time. I've been doing some 3D printing at the machine at the library, which is publicly available.
Okay.
Very good on them. They only charge for the price of the filament. It's an excellent service. However, the library's closed at the moment.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm just trying to. Yeah, here's one of the things that I had 3D printed. It's a little circuit board holder for when you're soldering.
Yeah, I could probably do with one of those. That's a really good idea, actually. Yeah.
That's a model from Thingiverse, as most of the stuff is. I'm not all that good at CAD yet.
Dead easy, mate. Honestly, dead easy.
My son, the programmer, is also very skilled at Blender, so I've been trying to bug him to do a few things, but it's way down on his priority list for some reason.
So, Pile of Stuff, everybody. This is Kent's channel, Pile of Stuff on YouTube. And thanks ever so much for joining us today for a chat about sort of general electronics and whatnot. And what a lovely chat it's been. A friendly, very friendly and entertaining and informative channel. So well worth popping over and checking out Pile of Stuff. Kent, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for calling, Howard. It was fun.
Absolute pleasure. Take care. Stay safe.
You too. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye for now.